Strap in, kid.
Welcome to the Very Bad Batch Explosion Network's after show, breaking down, discussing, and reviewing each and every episode of Disney Plus original Star Wars series, Star Wars: The Bad Batch. My name's Dylan Blight. Joining me is Ashley Hobley.
Hey, Dylan, excited to be here on this week's Bad Batch, rescuing some Ryloths.
They're not. The planet's right.
We're rescuing some Rylothians.
Okay. We'll go with it.
Why don't need people named after the planet?
I don't know.
Why is the planet called Tyler?
Why is our planet called humans?
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I fucked you there, didn't I? You didn't think that through.
But Earthlings is a thing.
Earthlings? Yeah, like from Aliens. Yeah. It's only ever in alien movies that you'll have people come down and go,
yeah, because we haven't found any freaking aliens yet.
Because they go, oh, the planet's called Earth because there's a sign somewhere up in space that says Earth. And then they come down and go, oh, Earthlings. And we go, we're actually humans. Yeah. Fucked ya.
So the planet should just be called Hume.
Well, you know, like Doctor Who, tangent for a sec, but like, you know how in Doctor Who, humans like spread across all these different planets, and that's like how they explain in Doctor Who lore, that's how they explain why there's so many humans in different planets, because they say that they spread to different planets after a certain year or whatever. But then those people, it's like your species is human, but if they're born on a different planet, you know what I mean? Like, so their species is human, but they would be called
planet nationality. Fuck.
Yeah.
Planetarily?
Yeah. Yeah. But like,
yeah,
the humans from the planet Ryloth, for example. So they're I don't know. Yeah.
Rylothians.
Yeah. Let's just
What a conversation.
What a conversation. This week's episode
Thanks
of
for
Bad Batch.
tuning
Maybe we'll bring back that Doctor Who podcast if they release the season when it doesn't start when we're on fucking holidays. You remember that's why we didn't do it, by the way? Because it's like, what happened to that podcast? Fish Fingers and Custard.
They were launched the 2 weeks that we weren't here doing it.
They literally started the season when we weren't here, and I had to draw some fine lines, you know? Like, make sure you take
we could start it halfway through.
Yeah, anyway, I guess subscribe to that. Hopefully that's a show that it comes back to.
Do you remember what it was called, Dylan?
Yeah, Fish Finger and Custards. Fish Finger and Custard, sorry. Not custard.
But
close enough. It's fine. This week's episode of Bad Batch, Rescue on Ryloth, directed by Nathaniel Villanueva, written by Jennifer Corbett. Synopsis, very boring synopsis. The Batch is tasked with a dangerous mission. Got him. What was your overall thoughts on this week's episode?
Yeah, pretty solid. You know, the rescue stuff. We get some more crossover of like the Bad Batch, and we get to see more from the Empire side. See Crosshair's like still upset and that kind of stuff. You know, they rescue Hera and her parents. All's good with the world. You know, it was kind of setting up potentially the last couple episodes of the season with Crosshair chasing down the Bad Batch. Yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah, obviously I enjoyed it still. Getting some more Hera action. I think the one criticism for last week's episode was, you know, and I saw it from other people as well, where it's, you know, I enjoyed it, but also the show's about the Bad Batch and they were barely in it. But then, like, to a degree, that had to happen to get to this, and then I feel like this episode was good for Omega. And
Dylan, we're so focused on the Bad Batch, but I think the real Bad Batch is the friends we meet along the way.
Yeah, that's one good way to look at it. But yeah, once again, Hera was really good. I liked seeing this origin story, I guess, of her and how her. By the way, her mum didn't die, so there's that. remember how I kept saying her mum's gonna die because she's not around when we meet older Hera. So
she's just gonna die later.
She's gonna die later, yeah. I mean, we all die later. Sorry to break that to you, but
wow,
you're gonna die one day.
It's my kind of humor.
Yeah. Hera was really good in this episode. Andrella, and my favorite parts are just Hera and Omega. So seeing Hera pilot a ship for the first time after, you know, the first episode showed her love for flying and her interest
Yep.
for it, and then knowing that she's the pilot of the Ghost, the ship, and Rebels, and she's the captain of that crew and all that sort of stuff. So like I enjoyed seeing all that. I enjoyed
First time taken off.
Hey,
First time taken off.
yeah, it kind of reminded me of it just reminded me of Force Awakens when they're trying to get the cord free from Poe and Finn
From the TIE fighter.
Yeah, get the TIE fighter out and they're just like banging around in there. Reminded me of that. But yeah, my favorite thing.
Chopper zaps some people's.
Who? Oh yeah, Chopper. Chopper, like I swear, zaps Stormtrooper, and then it's like "fuck you, mate," or like I hear nothing but swear words when I listen to Chopper's beeps. And I would love for someone to tell me they're not and try and convince me, because I don't think you could. Don't even have to try. I just hear "fuck you" and like "fuck off" and like that's all I hear. It's ingrained in my head. I don't know. By the way, side tangent, because you haven't watched all the Rebels. So if you look in the credits, it'll say like Chopper as himself.
Yes.
Like that's the thing. And they did that throughout the entirety of Rebels until the very last episode where it said Chopper.
Dave Filoni.
Yeah, Dave Filoni. It's a big secret. It's a big secret. But I was like, but in this, they've gone back to the, like, why hide it? Maybe he's not doing it. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But yeah, my favorite thing in this episode was the Hera and Omega stuff. It makes me, I don't know. You set up this really cool relationship where I'm like, cool. I'd love to see these characters interact more. But then we don't know what happens to Omega. We know for sure she isn't in Rebels. So, like, just have some interesting questions there. But yeah, it was seeing Omega on her first proper solo mission, like outside of having any of the Bad Batch with her, being trusted to do something, her sort of fearlessness, I guess, or cockiness. I don't know. Would you call it fearlessness or cockiness? The fact that the mission goes haywire and she's like, well, how about we just steal this pod and we'll just blow it up instead.
Sure, why not?
That's probably going to get you in trouble one day, but that's fine.
Nah.
One of my other cool moments I want to shout out before I forget it is often we kind of forget what Hunter's sort of superpower or whatever you want to call it is, because the rest of the crew get to show theirs off more often. But in this episode, that moment where Hunter's like, he senses the probe droid and just does that signal and just disappears and then jumps on it from the top. I thought that was pretty badass. We haven't really got Hunter moments like that, so I quite enjoyed that. And I guess ultimately, my thing for this episode, you've got the Bad Batch still having this narrative thing of, again, they're asked at the end of the episode to basically come join the rebellion, or what will be the beginning of the rebellion. And Hunter's, again, with I've got my own people to look after, blah, 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 blah. It's I don't know, third or fourth time this has happened, I swear. It's just a continuing thing for this show. So at this stage, when there's only how many episodes is there left? 5, 6, can't remember. How many episodes is there?
4.
16. Is there? Okay.
4 left.
With only 4 episodes left, what is the end goal for this show, do you think? Because at this stage, I feel like it's just being them bumping into characters who actually join the rebellion in some form or fashion, and they're not joining it. So is it just we're watching them meet characters that will join the rebellion, or is the end goal supposed to have them?
We're meeting all the
rebellion?
characters that we'll meet later.
Yeah, but what's the point? What's the goal for the characters of which the show's named after?
I think this is kind of leading up to them decommissioning the clones, like in the Imperial Army, the Empire. Obviously, we saw at the end of this episode a lot of the Captain Hauser and his troops turned against the Empire, and I think the Grand Admiral's probably losing faith very quickly in clones. So I think once they stop chasing them, and Omega specifically, because they don't care about the clones anymore, then they'll be free to join up with the rebellion, and I assume die tragically some way.
Yeah, well,
seeing as we never see them again.
It's true. I mean,
You know,
they're probably gonna die. To be honest.
the fact that we've never seen Omega and Hera in Rebels implies they don't stick around.
Omega can live, and whatever. I mean, technically, they could all live if they want to continue this narrative of they don't want anything to do with that, and they can all just go live happily ever after in a corner, not doing anything. But that feels so not Star Wars to have none of the characters join the fight or do what's right, kind of thing. You know, like I think one of the best lines in this episode is when Omega's like she gives that code to Hera. Hera calls in, you know, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope, whole thing. And then at first Hunter's like, why'd you give her codes? And then she says, oh, in case of emergencies and, you know, we need to go help her. And Hunter says, no, we can't do that. Like, we can't just help everyone. And she just says, why? Isn't that what soldiers do? You know, it's like, oh.
It's like, no, soldiers follow orders.
Yeah, I was like, it's such a like.
Good soldiers follow orders.
We have this thing all season of good soldiers follow orders, and now she's like good. She's saying good soldiers help
save everybody,
people in need. You know, like it's kind of a twisty on the lines and stuff there. So I quite enjoyed that. But yeah, I'm just very confused. Like I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed last week's episode. I enjoyed this 2-parter. Obviously more so because I love Rebels and I did enjoy seeing Hera. And I think the slight growth in Omega we got to see was good as well. But ultimately, it was just I enjoyed it. For Hera.
Hunter let her and Hera, like, you know, go off by themselves.
Yeah,
it's a lot of trust.
It was a big move for him.
Yeah. Big
treating her more like one of the team.
Yeah, slowly
than someone I've got to look after.
You know, and too, I think his tech like questioned him when he said that. And like, didn't bring it up or justify it.
No, he was just like,
"It's what's happening.
It's what's happening." Yeah, it's true. Yes, I'm intrigued to see where the show goes from now because I still am like, is it 1 season? Is it 2 seasons? Like, I don't see a long run for this show. I could possibly see a 2nd season. Do the whole 2 seasons.
You know, unless they all die in the finale.
I mean, yeah, and then they do the next show is called Omega. Let's see, follow Omega. I mean, a lot of people would probably be happy with that because I feel like Omega's the one character that most people who are like, "Oh, the show's alright," but like Omega's the best part and the rest is meh. Like if that happened, then they just did an Omega spin-off. Sure, I don't know. Any final thoughts?
No, I think we covered most things. You know, I fully expect us to see more of Hera in the future, like more of this time period in between. Do you think so? Or
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I just don't know where. I would much prefer them to, now that they have Disney Plus and they don't have to, you know, get Cartoon Network to greenlight these shows like they did with Clone Wars and they've had Rebels on Disney. They take up these time slots and, you know, weekly air times and stuff. Now they've got Disney Plus. It's like, just make 6-episode
I'm sure I'm sure they see the numbers and they know that a bunch of people just watch anything Star Wars that they put out.
Yeah. It's just like the rules are off the table. You can do 16 episodes of this. You could do a 3-episode animated special where each episode's an hour. You know, like you can do whatever you want. I'll watch it. So it's like, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people just watch it and yeah, just tell. I'm intrigued. I'm happy for them to play around, and I don't put. And I know I said this last week. I really do not put. If they were to announce a Hera series, I would not put that into the same boat as if they announced a Han Solo series or a Luke series. You know, like a legacy character series. I'm like, she was in one show. And she was one of several main characters, of which she wasn't either of the 2 main ones. Like I know they were all sort of trying to have shared time, but the show ultimately came down to her being probably in third place as the main, as far as like main characters go. So it's really not the same to say if she got a prequel series or something.
No, but I think she's probably one of the most used animated characters who originated from an animated show. So they've seen the Ghost Shop in Rise of Skywalker, Rogue One. We've seen stored in she's the captain in Squadrons.
Yeah.
You know? Do you think? Well, is the next time we see Hera in live action? Do you reckon? Is she going to be in the Sioka show, or crazy notion? Is she going to be in the Rogue One prequel series?
She could be in that for sure. She could be in any of them. Really, is the thing. Because she's both a big enough character that will get a pop from. I wouldn't even say hardcore Star Wars fans, because if she's in this much stuff, it's not hardcore. It's just anyone that's watching anything past the movies fan. You know what I mean? Like whatever you want to call that type of Star Wars fan, someone who delves outside of just the movies. They probably know who Hera is. So if you put her in live action, you'll get a pop for it. But then also she's not so big. She's not a Jedi. She ain't a Sith. You know, you don't have to feel like there's an overpowered character there. It's not someone who you could put in a certain place and it feels like it's fucking with the timeline or just feels weird. You know, you could have her in Obi-Wan, you could have her in Andor, you could have her in any of these things. So I'm down. All right. Thank you for joining us.
What character from Star Wars would you think we'll see next week?
Well, I reckon no one, to be honest. I reckon we do next week's a...
No. Yoda next week.
Fucking don't. Well, no, it would be another Rebels character at this stage because we've seen 2. And the rest are too young, so it has to be Zeb.
Yeah.
If we're doing the 3 ones that are old enough, it has to be Zeb. So there you go.
Sure.
Knock it out.
Or they run it, they're chased down by the ghost. Do you know?
That'd be really weird. I don't want to see that personally.
Just throwing out crazy ideas.
Yeah.
That's what I do here at this
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Very Bad Batch. Please subscribe to Holocron Entries for all of our great Star Wars content. Follow our Twitters by heading to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter and join our Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord. If you like this episode and you'd like to tell us, head on over to explosionnetwork.com/support to donate as well as $1 to our Ko-fi page. And until next week.
You know, Hera, she's a rebel, she's a saint, she's sold the earth, and she's dangerous.